Hello, Moon Babe. It is me. Here is your month ahead forecast for January. A little late, I know. It is January 10th, and so we're 10 days into the month. Happy New Year. Welcome to the Year of the Lovers. The Year of Lovers means we are in a 6th year. We just completed a 5-year, which was the Year of the Hierophant, which was all about kind of learning how to live by your own code, or kind of developing your own code that is in an alignment with all of the elements of the universe, because the other side of the key five of the tarot is Temperance, which is key 14, which 1 + 4 = 5. Okay, I don't really want to get into that. It's a bit much right now. So anyways, let's talk about this year. So I did write something about the lovers that I was going to post, and I just feel like I should just read it, because sometimes when I'm just making these videos, I really get foggy brained, especially with the sun that's squaring Neptune this week. I mean, Mars squaring Neptune this week, which I'll be talking about a little bit more in a bit. It's just a lot of haziness, confusion. So hopefully this goes all right and you can fully understand me. I know I'm difficult to understand to begin with. Anyway, so this is what I wrote. This year is extra special for me personally, for all of you too, because it is a 6th year, the Year of the Lovers. The 6th year of the tarot is the Lovers. Here's the card. If you see in this celestial tarot deck, it is governed by Gemini energy. Gemini rules the twins. I was born in a 6th year, and I also have a 33-6 life path. And I've learned a lot about this vibration in the 35 years that I've been here. The number 6 is associated with love and perfect harmony, which sounds really light and cushy, but that's from an outsider's perspective. 6 is a number associated with choice. The choice between the head and the heart. Individuals with lots of 6s in their chart, so the 6th degree, maybe with a lot of Virgo energy, a lot of stuff in the 6th house, or individuals that are on the 6th life path are always working towards a state of balance and beauty. They are caregivers, domestic mavens, artisans, musicians. They carry enormous responsibility for their family and their home. So that's a big thing about the 6 energy. It's very domestic. It's a lot about the family, making choices that are rooted in the home and caregiving and kind of helping other people feel good, like feel loved and appreciated. The choice to follow the head or the heart is a recurring predicament in my own personal life. And no matter what choice I make, I do tend to feel torn. I reflect more than is necessary. While others have moved on, I'm still wondering if the choice I made really resulted in the harmony I was hoping to achieve. Especially when I follow my head. My heart aches for ages. Like, you have no idea how long it takes for me to get over a breakup. It might seem like I'm bouncing back very quickly, but no, I'm still not over, my boyfriend from the 6th grade. But anyways, that's besides the point. But following my heart again comes with its own issues. I have definitely been in situations where I disregarded logic, and I was just like, no, this is what my heart wants, especially in relationships. I can fall very, very hard for people and really, really love them, even though it's like my head is telling me like, this is not a healthy situation for you. This is not bringing more harmony to your life. This is not even bringing more harmony to their life. Why are you doing this? And it's just like, I just love them so much. I don't know, like, and then that's another thing. I don't know. It's like this kind of circular thing, I feel like, with 6 energy. So the number 6 is also closely associated with 15. 1 plus 5 equals 6. And if you're familiar with the tarot, then you know the 15th key is the devil. The traditional tarot depicts a man and a woman chained to an external demonic entity. Now, this one, the Celestial Tarot, does not have that, but if you're familiar with the traditional tarot, it's actually the man and the woman from the lovers that are chained to the devil, and it's almost like they can't get out of the chains. It's like it's this external force that they are restricted by. So the traditional tarot depicts a man and a woman chained to an external demonic entity. This is the shadow of the 6, feeling trapped or restricted, making choices based in fear or scarcity, giving power away in exchange for material gratification, addiction and dependency, which so many of my past relationships, so not even just romantic relationships, but friend relationships, I feel like I had these themes big time, even business relationships of addiction and dependency, where it was like all of a sudden I realized, oh, I don't know where I stop and you begin. It becomes like we just become one entity, and it's kind of very toxic and not healthy. So I found myself in devil territory multiple times in my life. And I feel like if I don't stay aware of the reasons behind my choices, it becomes a slippery slope to the devil. I have to check in with myself often. Am I making this choice based off of my needs? Or is an external entity manipulating me into thinking or valuing their needs as my own? So it's so difficult. Maybe this is easy for you to figure out. Maybe you're not a 6, have a lot of 6 energy, you know, on the 6 life path. So difficult for me to figure out. Again, it's like, where do I stop and you begin? Where do my needs begin and yours end? It is often very difficult to tell. I usually have to wait and see if the choice results in restriction of my life force. If I suddenly realize I no longer have the power to make healthy choices for myself, then I know I am in trouble. And there's so many times. I've also noticed my health usually takes a turn for the worse. So that is a big thing. When I start having recurring health issues, I know there is something off. There is some sort of issue going on deeper. So one thing, here's a story time, Jilly's story time. When I first met my ex-husband, now we met kind of like in this like whirlwind of this experience, met like at a music festival. And it was like, you know, it was dusk. The sun was starting to go down, and I don't even know. It was like we started a random conversation, and then it was kind of like it was like almost immediate. We like just started this conversation. It was like, and really, my ex-partner. Now I was in a very vulnerable state at the time in my life. I had been basically like rejected by my family. This was in 2012. My mother had just recently become aware of the abuse that I had experienced by my stepfather, and she kind of pushed back on me, basically kind of made me feel very abandoned, and I was in a very, very vulnerable state. I felt very unloved, and I'm not gonna cry. I felt very unloved and unappreciated, and I met my ex-husband at a music festival, and he was, from the very beginning, I mean, I should have seen the signs that he was really struggling with dependency, not just in drugs, but in relationships. I think I had like made some sort of comment to him because it was like almost right off the bat. He was talking about his childhood and about like what his people suffered in Soviet Union, because he's from Russia. He was a Russian refugee. And I had just, me being the sixth that I am, I was like, that was a long time ago, and you can heal from this, you can move on from this, like, you don't need to stay in that past. And he was just like, it was like as if no one had ever told him that before. I don't know, but he became immediately like almost attached to me. I kind of feel like he became like this entity on top of me at that moment. And I was needing, someone to love me, to hold me, to nurture me. And so was he. And so we made this really unhealthy bond with one another. It was when Neptune had just moved into Pisces on top of my Vesta in the 5th house. So yeah, I should have seen the signs. Okay. So that was like very early. And then it was kind of like all these other things started happening where he started kind of micromanaging my income, my finances, telling me how to do my taxes. It became like this whole like serious thing very, very quickly. And then we moved to Thailand together. Now, from the very beginning though, my health started deteriorating. When we first met, I was actually trying to be more healthy. I was, exercising regularly. I was eating very well. I was taking care of my body. I also had just like paid off all my debt, and I was like doing awesome. I felt like at the time, but I was, I needed to feel belonged. I needed that sense of belonging. My Cancer energy was really not doing so well because of what I experienced with my mother. And wow. So anyways, my health started deteriorating pretty much right off the bat. And the entire time I was in Thailand with him, I was in and out of hospitals. And I had recurring UTIs, like constant, like for an entire year, I basically had a UTI. It was awful. I also was like sick to my stomach all the time. I kept getting injuries. Like it was insane how many times I was in the hospital while traveling that 1 year. Like I've been to so many different hospitals, different types of hospitals. Wow, I couldn't believe it. But that should have been something. Another thing that happened was that my cat died. Actually, 2 of my animals died when we were together. The 6th energy, Virgo energy, governs pets and animals. So there were so many signs that I was in devil territory, that I was making choices, not really that were in alignment for myself, that were helping me. But I was making choices for just kind of gratification and, material gratification. He was my first boyfriend, I believe, that made more money than me. I've always been in relationships where I was like the sugar mama, or whatever, where I was usually making more money or whatever. And I met someone who was actually making more money than me. And I was like, this is amazing. I've never experienced this before. And he was spoiling me big time, big time. Oh my God. The gifts, like constant, flowers, constant, it was just like too much, but it felt good. It felt really good, but I was in devil territory. And so I was there for a while, and we did end up getting married, even though I had a feeling it was probably not the right thing, but I really loved him. I still really love him. And so it was really, really difficult to tell him, hey, this is actually not good for me. This is not healthy for me. And that is eventually how I told him we needed to part ways. Was just, this is very unhealthy for me. I don't feel my best when I'm around you. I feel like things tend to kind of get shittier when we're together. For me specifically, for him, I felt like he was actually doing awesome, because I was giving him so much of my energy. I was basically living just to keep him alive in a way. So yeah, it was a very messy situation, but that is my lover story. I have others, but I feel like that is the biggest one for me. So anyways, let's move ahead to the January forecast. Don't want to get too hung up on that, but maybe you have an idea of what the lover's energy is kind of about. This is just 2022. You know, if you came to our meeting, there was only a few people there, but where I had kind of gone over the year of what's coming. This is a major year for values in relationships and how you show up within them. And that was a big thing that may have become more clear or illuminated for us this past Saturday when the sun met with Venus. So yesterday, though, on Sunday, we had our first quarter moon. When the moon was in Aries, it was at 19 degrees. The sun was in Capricorn at 19 degrees. So the first quarter moon is a time for you to really start moving, get things in action where you may be hitting some sort of challenging roadblock and you need to push ahead. You need to face these challenges, this obstacle, move ahead. And the obstacle may have been needing to express yourself in some sort of independent manner when it comes to your career and your legacy and what you're trying to do. So you may have needed to do some independent work or currently doing something that's independent away from others. All right, so first quarter moon. Now let's start with what is going on today, Monday. So this week, we have a lot of Neptune energy happening. Lots of fun, Neptune energy. So we have today the sun making a sextile to Neptune. This is a very lovely aspect, really. I would say normally this aspect would be really inspiring, you know, finding a way to put yourself forward, to grow towards some sort of ambitious future that is really aligned with your dreams and the ideals you have for yourself. Now, at the same exact time this is happening, of course, we just had the first quarter moon. And so it's like challenging. It's like you want to reach for this dream. You have this opportunity to reach for this dream. That's what sextiles represent, is an opportunity, a learning opportunity to reach for this dream, this ideal. But Mars is also making a square to Neptune. And that will be exact on Tuesday. Yeah, on Tuesday, Mars will be making a square to Neptune. But this effect, you're feeling it now. You probably felt it yesterday. You're going to be feeling it tomorrow and the day after. Pretty much this entire week, we're going to be under the influence of Mars square to Neptune. And what this aspect represents is basically this is a challenge. Again, squares always kind of represents some sort of growing opportunity, some sort of challenge to what you're trying to do. Mars is your action, your force, your driving ability. In Sagittarius, you know, that force is trying to spread something, to believe in something, to have some sort of greater life mission, to maybe spread hope and wisdom and philosophy. So that's how we're kind of using our Mars energy, activating our Mars, our energy force, but we're being challenged by unknown factors, by some sort of mysterious factor. Now, what could this be? I mean, I think big time what we're seeing is the spread of COVID, because Neptune rules and Pisces energy rules like mysterious diseases. So Mars is kind of like, we might have all this energy to move ahead. You know, we're trying to make something of this Capricorn new moon intention, but we're being compounded. We're struggling to move forward because there's like this big cloud coming in over us and kind of taking away our energy, kind of making us like almost simmer down and to release our ego a bit. So this is a softening aspect. It kind of helps us to let go of that masculine urge to assert ourselves forward at any cost and kind of like let go more. But the effect that it's probably having on you is being more tired than usual, being more confused, being overwhelmed. That's something that's coming up for me big time this week. I'm like, holy crap, I am overwhelmed. I am so overwhelmed right now. I don't even know where to begin. Where am I going right now? So that's like the vibe that you'll probably be feeling most of this week with that Mars square Neptune. Also happening on Tuesdays, we have Vesta entering Capricorn. Vesta is one of the goddess asteroids, and she really tells us, or he, I don't really like to give gender, but Vesta really is telling us how we are focusing our energy, how we are, what are we like kind of giving ourselves to, like voluntarily, like how are we moving forward? What have we dedicated ourselves to? Where is the focus? Where are we putting all of our kind of like sexual energy? It's all about like kind of giving up our sexual energy to focus on some sort of work or passion. And so where is Vesta? I'm like, where is it right now? It's in Capricorn, so it's over here. Here it is. Okay, so Vesta in Capricorn. So now we're going to be moving into boss energy, which I'm kind of like looking forward to Vesta moving into Capricorn personally. Vesta in, I feel like Sagittarius, which we're currently in right now, Vesta in Sagittarius, anaretic degree. It might feel like you are like kind of expanding a lot, like really focusing on that expansion, on how you can grow. And now when it moves into Capricorn, we can begin to solidify possibly these aims that you have been focusing on, and maybe dial them down, get organized, plan ahead. Okay, so I feel like a little bit more structure is coming, even though we're under that influence of Mars square Neptune. Might be better to just kind of like spend some time like alone in isolation, with like a journal, a candle, you know, because Mars, I feel like the candle is really nice. And really write down this plan. You know, what are all these things that you have been dedicating yourself to since Vesta has been in Sagittarius? How can they all like kind of work together? What kind of plan can you come to? So we're going to be getting into more planning energy with what it's going to be our 5th celestial body in Capricorn on Tuesday morning. Very early Tuesday morning. Okay, so then we have the sun meeting with a Juno, which the Capricorn new moon was very, very close to Juno. Juno was actually like kind of a part of it. Juno is the goddess asteroid that it really represents who we are relating to, who we are kind of, who is our ride or die. That's what I kind of feel like Juno is. Like, who are we keeping secrets for? Who are we loving regardless of their flaws? As Juno was the wife of Zeus, and we know Zeus or Jupiter had lots of things going on there, but she still stood by him. She is still very loyal. So it has a lot to do with loyalty, but it also has something to do with infidelity. So Juno and Capricorn, we are relating to those who have status, who have some sort of prestige, who are some sort of mentor or authority figure. That's who we want to be relating to right now. That's the way we're relating to others. And so this is a new beginning of kind of like taking on that position of authority, possibly within your relationships, growing more, taking on responsibility, following through on things, organizing things. That's who we want to be associated with right now. That's who we are loyal to at this time. So we also have Mercury currently in its storm this week. So what does that mean? That means Mercury has like really, really slowed down. It's like super, super slow right now. Mercury is barely moving right now. If you see, that's later this week, but Sun sextile Neptune, this is Monday. This was like the first major transit of the week. If you notice, Mercury is at 9 degrees of Aquarius. And then when we get to Mercury stationing for retrograde, it's at 10 degrees of Aquarius. And those are 4 days apart. It's only moved 1 degree. Okay. Typically, Mercury moves like a little over 1 degree a day. So if Mercury was moving at its normal speed, it would be more like at 13 or 14 degrees of Aquarius. But because it is in its storm, because it is beginning to station for retrograde, so it's kind of like it's slowing down, it's like it was going really, really fast, and then it's slowing down because it's going to stop and go back. So very, very slow. So things, again, more confusion. This is definitely making our brains maybe a little bit extra foggy this week. So the best use of your energy, I feel like this week, is to ask yourself if things are maybe really as bad as maybe they feel like they are. Because I feel like with all this Neptune energy, with Mercury moving very slow, coming up close to Saturn, doesn't hit it exactly, but it gets very close. Saturn can definitely bring on some very touchy, depressing kind of thoughts when Mercury is very close to it. And then we have the Sun moving into a conjunction with Pluto. We already have Venus retrograde. So there might be some like insecurity coming up this week. Okay. Mars square to Neptune, not being able to really follow through with our actions the way that we want to, being like facing like these unseen challenges that seem to maybe threaten our life force. I would imagine a lot of people getting sick this week. So take care of your body big time. Get your rest, wash your hands, wear a mask, get your booster if you haven't yet. I'm so grateful I got that booster because, I did go to Florida. I was kind of around a lot of people. I went to Harry Potter Land, which I was just like this the entire time. I was a little bit freaked out, but it was a gift from my partner's mother. So yeah, I just, I tried to live it up. I definitely, though, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I did that. Not the smartest thing. Yeah, anyways, that's my devil's shadow. So get rest this week. Get your rest. On Sunday, the Sun will make a conjunction to Pluto. This is an annual thing. It happens every year. Last year, it happened around the time of the Capricorn new moon. The Sun and the Moon were conjunct Pluto last year together. So this time it is happening after the first quarter and right before the full moon. So that Cancer full moon that's coming for us on Monday. it's going to be emotional. I definitely feel like it's going to be emotional. So take care of your body this week, get some rest, focus on your needs and not on the devil's needs. I just feel like I'm like a religious person when I say stuff like that, but focus on your needs. What is a healthy choice for you? Try not to get too overwhelmed by stuff happening. Do what you can. Okay, I am back. Now let's talk about this Sun conjunct Pluto happening pretty much right after the Cancer full moon. This happens every year when the sun meets with Pluto, and this is an opportunity for us to eliminate something that we have been kind of working towards because Capricorn is the archetype of achievement, of ambition, of working towards some sort of external success or public image. So this is an opportunity for us to kind of let go of something, maybe that we have dedicated ourselves to, that is maybe no longer working out for us, and for us to have a rebirth here, because that's what Pluto represents, kind of its elimination, and then that results in something new taking its place. Every ending has a new beginning, right? So it's letting something go, releasing, eliminating, cutting off, and then being reborn, like the phoenix rises from the flames. So this is an opportunity for you to do just that now, because their ruler is Saturn in Aquarius. This has a lot to do with possibly some sort of cause you've been aligned with, or movement, or group, friend group. Something is changing there. You're eliminating something massive that maybe you've been dedicating yourself to, that may have been some sort of network. And now you're kind of working to align yourself towards maybe a network that is better for you, that has more like-minded individuals, and that feels just more connected, more fair, more liberal, possibly, because that's like the Aquarius archetype, more progressive. So eliminate yourselves from the outdated means of achieving power and control and success, eliminating yourself from that and replacing it with something that's better aligned, that suits your needs, that will help you have some sort of sustainable network or connection with others. I'm going to talk about the Cancer full moon later, because that is big, because Pluto is conjunct it. So that's why I'm saying this is going to be like an emotional full moon coming up for us. So next we have coming up is Mercury sextile Chiron. I think I actually made a chart for that. No, I did not. But yeah, that week, the week of full moon, will have Mercury sextile Chiron and Uranus stationing direct on the same exact day. So on Tuesday, January 18th, that is an opportunity for you to move ahead with some sort of idea or path that will heal your connection to yourself in your survival. Aries is associated with survival. Okay, it's the first sign of the zodiac. It's all about birth. So healing your ability, some sort of idea, some sort of expression of an idea, possibly because it's in Aquarius, it may also have to do with the internet and detached connections. So having some sort of plan, objection, idea, logical choice that will help you heal your ability to survive, help you assert yourself forward and put your needs ahead in order for you to survive. That's why Aries puts itself first, because it is so focused on survival, big time. Okay, and this is why it's also very closely associated with the with Pluto. I recently heard that back in the day when Pluto was discovered and they were trying to decide what sign to associate it with, there was a lot of people that were actually wanting to associate Pluto with Aries. And I can see that. I can really, really see that that connection there. So anyways, that's an aside. Now, on the same exact day, this is when Uranus goes direct. Uranus has been retrograde for months, and Uranus is going direct at 10 degrees and 49. So this is now, it's like we have been, when Uranus is retrograde, we're now, because it's an outer planet, it's not really that noticeable. You don't really realize you're doing it. Those of us who may be more in tune with this kind of stuff, following the weather very closely, cosmic weather very closely, are very aware of this. But yeah, Uranus retrograde, you're kind of rethinking, your progress, your vision, your future vision forward. And now when it goes direct, it's time to actually move ahead with those changes on how you are moving towards the future, whatever, your innovations, your genius, your spark of genius, it's back, move ahead. Yeah, I like it when Uranus goes direct. Maybe it's because I have some heavy Uranus energy in my chart, but I definitely feel that shift. Like, oh, yes, okay, yeah, I've been rethinking all of this stuff and how I was going to, really like put my vision forward. And now I finally have the opportunity to do it. So that's what's going to be happening on Tuesday, January 18th, Uranus direct. And I feel like that idea, that opportunity is that idea that, Uranus and Mercury, Uranus is kind of like the higher octave of Mercury, or so they say. So it's kind of like taking messages from the universe, whereas Mercury takes messages from those side by side. But Mercury is currently in Aquarius. So Mercury is actually disposed by Uranus right now. So they're kind of in cahoots. They're communicating. And so, yeah, there's some sort of a revolutionary idea that you've been maybe thinking on, putting on the back burner, and now you can kind of move ahead with it. And it's going to help you survive. Okay, it's something that's going to be really focused on your needs for survival. So next we have the Sun entering Aquarius on the 18th, Wednesday, the 18th. So the Sun entering Aquarius on this day, on the 19th at 9:39 p.m. Eastern. Just kind of wanted to bring up the chart, see what was going on here, to get an idea of what our Aquarius season will kind of be about. Well, we have the Mars making a trine to the Moon in Leo. I find that very interesting. I kind of feel like this means that we are definitely moving. It's a lot of fire energy. We're moving ahead, and with also Mercury making that sextile to Chiron, it kind of does feel like a lot of energy to start new, to be enthused by something. Like something is really like riling us up, really getting us going, putting a fire underneath our ass. And now we're moving ahead. So I feel like that week, the week of the 17th, a lot of fire energy moving forward. So Aquarius, Aquarius season, God, this Mars square Neptune. Well, also my natal Mars is conjunct Neptune. Okay. Aquarius season is ruled by Uranus. Okay. Uranus, though, is in Taurus. The sign, another fixed sign. So it does have that in common with Aquarius, but it is square to Aquarius. So Taurus is a very fixated on remaining kind of the same and doing things that are secure and safe. Whereas Aquarius is really fixated on progress, on some sort of visionary, maybe utopian vision or future plan. And so they're at cross purposes, even though they're both fixed sign, they do have that in common, which also means that there's a lot of friction between them. And so I do expect this season to have a lot of friction, especially when as long as Uranus is in Taurus. I'd imagine every Aquarius season will be full of friction. So anyways, this is a time for us to really, our attentions are moving towards that which is revolutionary, that which is going to lead us into some sort of a better position, future position. And we're doing that by changing our values, by, and especially with the North Node being in Taurus, we also have Ceres in Taurus. Oh, and, we also have, the most recent Mars cycle started in Libra. So it's Venusian, associated with the planet of Venus. Now we're looking at Venus. Venus is in Capricorn, still retrograde on this day, on the 19th, when the sun enters Aquarius. And so I do feel like we are going back and we're looking at our values, and those values specifically that are associated with the institutions, organizations, legacies that we are a part of. Like, who are you dedicated to? Who are you committed to? Can be family stuff, because Capricorn, it's definitely family stuff. Capricorn is associated with the family and the family image, the public image of the family. We're kind of going back and possibly looking at that. How can we move forward in a sustainable, secure way that still allows some sort of flexibility in regards to those organizations that we are a part of. So I do feel like, a lot of job changes are probably on the horizon. Relationship changes as well, and the dynamics within families changing big time for this Aquarius season. So let's look at what is going on with the Sun conjunct Mercury. So that is happening basically the next day. No, it's not happening the next day. It's happening on the 23rd, on Sunday. So when the Sun and Mercury meet, this is the, halfway point of the Mercury retrograde. And so when the Sun and Mercury meet, this means, halfway through Mercury retrograde at this point. Did I even talk about Mercury retrograde? I'm sorry. I feel like I'm all over the place. Really difficult today doing this. I don't know why I chose this day. I just had to do it. That first quarter moon says I have to do it. Okay. So they are making a conjunction on the 23rd, Sunday, the 23rd. And this is kind of like when you get the information, when you can see the information very clearly, that will help you like solidify something. Okay, so if you haven't looked at my slides for the year ahead forecast, all Mercury retrogrades this year will be starting in earth signs and moving into air signs. Wait, no, sorry, go back. They're all starting in air signs and then moving back into earth signs. Wow. So yeah, they're starting in air signs, they're moving back into earth signs, all of the Mercury retrogrades this year. That's what's happening. Okay, there's going to be one in Gemini that's going to go from Gemini to Taurus, and then there's going to be one in Libra. It's going to go from Libra to Virgo, and then it's going to move forward again. And so this is very important because this is telling us what are we rethinking? Okay, we're rethinking some sort of future vision, and then we're going to see that we're going to get that piece of information that maybe was missing before that is actually going to help us create something of substance. It's going to have some sort of message that's going to allow us to build something, have some sort of firm foundation. So information coming in, possibly having to do with your legacy, your career objectives, things that you're trying to build for yourself, trying to achieve for yourself. And so the information is going to become very clear on that Sunday. It might be subtle. I don't know. I always feel like it usually is pretty clear to me, but just pay attention to things that are going on Sunday the 23rd. Listen, pay attention, listen to what's going on around you. What are people saying to you? What kind of messages are coming in on that day? Maybe it's a good day for meditation. I feel like because it's an Aquarius, probably not actually a very good day for meditation. I would say probably a good day for writing though. So maybe do some stream of consciousness writing. That would be really good. Or looking into things, calculating things. So maybe that's what you're going to be doing, crunching some numbers, seeing maybe if that ambitious project that you're trying to work towards, if it makes any sort of sense. Is it logical? As Aquarius is like super logical. Then we have Mars entering Capricorn. Yay. I don't know why I'm saying yay. Maybe it's because my progressed Mars is in Capricorn. So Mars entering Capricorn. Now Mars in Sagittarius. I have Mars in Sagittarius, natally. And Mars being in Sagittarius, really, really gets its gears going by being hopeful, by being enthusiastic, by maybe being over generous, maybe promising things. I do that all the time. I'm always like, okay, calm it down. Take that Mars down a notch. Oh my gosh, you got to stop like making all these grandiose promises. Holy crap. Yeah. And so now with Mars being in Capricorn, it's technically, they call it, I think, medieval astrology, which I don't really follow. I don't really recommend you following it either. But medieval astrology does say that Mars is exalted in Capricorn. I can kind of see that a little bit, but also not really. I don't know. Mars in Capricorn is all about slow and steady, going a step by step, stopping, taking assessments. Okay, I think this is the right track, keep going. It's very strategic when in Capricorn. Okay, it's like you're using your energy to create a plan, to organize. That's what's getting you going. Okay, like some sort of ambitious plan. So we're taking those ambitions. We just saw, what it is we needed to see with the Sun and Mercury meeting. And now it's time to move ahead very steadily, slowly and steadily. It's like plodding ahead. So there may be something that you need to, a new dedication. It could be also like you're initiating some sort of new dedication or commitment when Mars is in Capricorn. Look at your Capricorn house, what area of life does that govern over, and you'll get an idea of what's happening there. I have a feeling for me, it probably has to do with the new podcast that's coming out, that honestly, I have been so overwhelmed lately with other things that I've not been dedicating as much time to it recently as I should be, just basically since the holidays. It's just been, whew. So yeah, I am starting a new podcast with Ren of Sex Oracle on the astrology of serial killers. So I'm hoping that's what that Mars entering Capricorn and all this stuff's happening, because it's in my 3rd house and whatever. Okay, so maybe also possibly doing more of these videos, maybe more clearly. I know today is like an absolute disaster, mess, trying my best, a little bit tired, a little bit foggy. Whew. Okay, Mars enters Capricorn on the 124. Oh, at the same exact time, Pluto conjunct Juno. This is what I was like, oh, that's pretty massive, I feel like. Okay, so on the same exact day that Mars enters Capricorn, so then we'll have Mars, Vesta, Venus, Juno, Pluto, all in Capricorn. Juno and Pluto make a conjunction now at the Capricorn new moon. Juno was a part of that. Okay, so there was like some sort of new beginning, some sort of new relationship, dedication to some sort of new relationship possibly happening there that was initiated. And then I think what's happening on the 24th is that, okay, like, you want to be a part of my transformation. Well, let's organize ourselves. Let's get going. Okay, if this is going to work out, we need to eliminate something. We need to upgrade you. I feel like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Beyonce's Upgrade You is literally my favorite song. I know it probably doesn't seem like it, but it probably doesn't seem like a song that would be my favorite, but I love that song because I feel like I'm always like that person who's upgrading people. But yeah, so there might be some sort of heavy issues to work through in a partnership, some sort of committed partnership where it's kind of like, okay, well, this needs to go if you're going to be a part of my legacy. Okay, moving forward. So I feel like that's what's coming for us on the 24th. And then we have the last quarter moon and Mercury retrograde re-entering Capricorn on the 25th, on the very next day. I'm going to take a pause for a minute. It's my throat. Okay, I am back. And shameless plug, but yeah, my honey ginger lemon lozenges, amazing. Just saying. I don't actually have any currently in stock. I need to make more this week, but oh my God, they feel so nice on my throat. Yeah, I don't know. I think I actually went on some rides at Universal Studios and I screamed a lot. I've not been on a roller coaster in a very long time. I literally screamed until I couldn't scream anymore and basically lost my voice. It's been very raspy ever since. Anyways, let's get back to what's going on. Mercury re-enters Capricorn on the 25th. So Mercury's still retrograde. It has moved back into Capricorn. So we've had time to reassess our visionary ideas, our future plans, our ideas for progress. We've been revisiting them, reevaluating them, reassessing them. And now on the 25th, we get back into Capricorn territory. So now it's time to reorganize those ideas. It's time to, okay, I saw what I need to see. I saw a little bit, it's like we saw a glimpse into the future and now we're coming back and we're like, okay, this is what needs to happen now. These are the structural changes that need to be made, especially because, Mercury will be hitting Pluto again. And so there's going to be structural changes that need to be made, major structural changes. And so this is a time for you to get serious. Again, Mars is in Capricorn. Venus is retrograde in Capricorn. Mercury is now retrograde in Capricorn. So these are major changes that need to kind of take place. I kind of feel like a big part of it, at least what we're seeing with Mercury going into a storm and everything, and is a lot of people are like changing their the mask mandates. I know the city of Portland is like, okay, they're back in effect. we gotta get a handle on this. So I do feel like it has a lot to do with the way that we are handling regulations in like a what's the word I'm trying to the regulations from like those who are in charge. You know, it's like they're making changes. We're seeing into the future. We saw what did work, what didn't work, and now we have to implement some sort of realistic, practical, pragmatic approach moving forward. So that's what's happening on the 25th. At the same exact time that we have the last quarter moon as well. That's a big piece as well. So the moon is in Scorpio, sun is in Aquarius. So these intentions for progress are being, you know, in order for us to move ahead, we need to let go of something. Now that moon is governed by both Mars and Pluto, who are both in Capricorn. So there is definitely this big theme of releasing ourselves or eliminating ourselves from some sort of toxic organization, hierarchy, authority figure or something. It's like we're seeing something there and we need to kind of move away from that. We need to transform that. We need to transmute it. We need to integrate it. We need to adopt something that's more supportive and healthy that will, you know, really stand the test of time. That's what Capricorn wants. Capricorn wants to build something that's going to last a very long time. And generally it does. That's why the Saturn return every 29 years. It's like, you know, at your Saturn return, you kind of start something new that you dedicate yourself to for 29 years. And by the 29th year, you see if it was even a good plan or not. Like, did it work out for you or not? That's kind of, you get faced with the consequences of that. So yeah. On the 28th, we have Sun sextile Chiron, Mercury conjunct Pluto, Mercury RX conjunct Pluto. So these two things happening at the same time, you know, not coincidence, you know, these are things that need to happen. With the Sun sextile to Chiron, there is this awareness of this ability to put ourselves in some sort of position, some sort of intent, align ourselves with some sort of intention that will heal our ability to survive, that will heal our assertive nature and our independence. Now with the Sun conjunct very close to Saturn, it feels very heavy. It feels like a very heavy choice that might need to be made. On this day, on the 28th, Mercury will be conjunct Pluto. So there might be something that needs to be said, something from the past, you know, maybe some sort of resentment, some sort of past resentment coming to the surface, bubbling to the surface. I feel like I already know what my Mercury conjunct Pluto is going to be. I already have an idea. Anyway, so something from the surface is coming up that needs to be rehashed, communicated. Now, with it being in Capricorn and it being in Pluto, it's probably going to be harsh. Moon's also in Sagittarius, so blunt and harsh. Could also be manipulative. You know, so pay attention to the conversations you're having on Friday, the 28th. You know, try to speak your truth. Speak your truth with no hidden pretenses, okay? You know, if you need to bring up something from the past, you know, bring it up. Also make sure that it's not in a way to like kind of like just get the upper hand. Like, oh, well, I did this because you did this way back and whatever. Like, try to stay on topic. I know it's probably going to be hard. I feel like I just kind of feel like it's going to be a little bit difficult because Mars and Sagittarius, I mean, Sun and Moon in Sagittarius, you know, with the Sun also in Aquarius. I don't know. I just kind of feel like there could be some razor sharp things being exchanged on the 28th. But it could also be a day for really transforming your way of thinking about your legacy, you know, moving forward. You know, who is it that you want to be? You know, who do you want to be remembered for? How do you want to be remembered? Okay. And what practical steps, what actual real steps can you take to make that possible? And, you know, you might say something that really reveals a part of yourself that you didn't realize was like there, you know? Again, you know, we are in lovers territory. You know, you may Gemini, okay, saying something, exchanging messages or something that reveal some sort of devilish nature, some sort of restriction or control that you're trying to have on others. So something might come to the surface. I feel like on the 28th, might be pretty heavy, might be kind of harsh. Try your best to be, you know, as honest as possible. You know, you can't, it's something I'm always telling myself all the time. So you have no control over their reactions. You only have control over your own reactions. It totally sucks though. It's like still not very difficult because it's like, oh, I just want to control your reaction because I want you to feel good. And, you know, that's, I know it's all about control. It's very difficult world we live in. And on the 29th, Venus stations direct. All right. So Venus stationing direct. We did it. We, on the 29th, Venus retrograde is over. And we will be taking our Venus function and externalizing it. Once again, you know, when Venus is retrograde, the Venus function is internalized. And so we can be kind of like more focused on ourselves and our own needs. And I would say not entirely as generous to others outside. And so for this period of time, it's been about our own needs for success and accomplishment and achievement, you know, kind of taking that function internally. And now it's time to move ahead with all that we have discovered within us, what our needs for success actually are. Like, what do we need in order to succeed and in order to have the legacy that we want? Okay. We're become very aware of that. And so, you know, Mercury is very close to Pluto on the same exact day. So is Juno there as well. Very interesting that the part of fortune at this moment is at 26 degrees of Capricorn, conjunct that Mercury and that Pluto. And so I do think that there has been a major shift in our ideas for our legacy and how we're going to commit ourselves and what organizations we're going to be committing ourselves to. What kind of rules are we going to have for ourselves? Discipline, you know, how are we going to start disciplining ourselves, being more responsible to our career and our, not just career, but like who we want others to see us as. That's what I really feel like Capricorn's big time about. the external image. And so that's what Venus stations direct. Venus is still going to be in her shadow, and Venus won't even move out of Capricorn until March 6th, I believe. It will finally transition into Aquarius on March 6th. After meeting with Pluto one more time and going to the underworld. So the last thing that's happening this month is the Sun square to Uranus. And it's happening very close to Saturn. Saturn's going to be a part of this. So that's on the 30th, Sunday, January 30th. And actually the very last aspect of January is the moon square Uranus as well. So on the 30th, we have the Sun square Uranus, and then on the 31st, really late at night, the last aspect of the month of January, at least on the eastern coast, will be the moon square to Uranus. So Sun square to Uranus, this is again a yearly transit that happens every year. But it's interesting when this happens because the Sun is in Aquarius, which is governed by or ruled by Uranus, and it's making a square to Uranus. So this is what we refer to as an ill-disposed placement. The Sun is disposed by Uranus, but it is forming a hard aspect to Uranus square. So it's like the Sun is basically like, okay, we need to move forward. We need to progress in a way that's humane, that's ethical, that's egalitarian, that is inclusive to others, that will provide us with a future, provide us with future generations, that will, you know, hopefully, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, so the Sun, that's what it wants while it's in Aquarius, but it's looking to Uranus on this day. And it's like, okay, so it has been looking to Uranus this entire time. They've been, you know, associated with one another this entire season. But on this particular day, that vision for the future it feels very challenging. It may feel even like impossible, like almost like everything that you try to do on this day is being thrown back at you. And I think it's kind of like, it's like, okay, well, I want to move forward. I want to have some sort of progressive thing. Okay, so I need to revolutionize the way I handle my resources, the way I handle my time, my priorities. But it's almost like Uranus is like, well, look at what you're doing. You know, look at your structure, look at your foundation. Because, you know, it's throwing it back at Saturn. It's like, have you revolutionized your structure, the structure of things? Have you revolutionized the bones of this vision? Because if you haven't, I feel like this day could be very challenging for you. So, you know, we're all going through this period of time right now where we need to kind of break things open a little bit and kind of almost like cement them back together, but like with some really good cement. I don't know. So sort of like alien cement. It's like we're being broken open, but then still forcing to like put the pieces back together in a way that is fair and equal and inclusive and connective. So I have been talking, I wrote that post the other day about crypto and more things going online. And I do think that is going to continue to be the trend. We are moving more and more online. And, you know, I think it's almost like we needed this pandemic to get us there, because people were still like living in these past structures that were really not fair. You know, they really prioritized people who had access to resources. So now we need to prioritize people or look at the world in means of accessibility. You know, not everyone has access to the same types of resources, but on the internet, I mean, we're still like, there's still issues with the internet, of course, and I think we're going to be seeing them when Pluto enters Aquarius. On the internet, though, you know, it's more or less a little bit more accessible. A little bit more. Not everyone has access to the internet. I'm aware of that. I'm aware that is a privilege. But I do think more and more of our time, of our structures are moving to the internet. And so things like, you know, if you have a brick and mortar store, right? I hope this past year, you have been working on your website and doing like deliveries, shipping things out, stuff like that. Very important right now. And something I keep thinking about, it's like kind of like a dream of mine to like have a brick and mortar store someday. But then I'm like, is that realistic? Is there a need for that? Or is that just like my own ego telling me I need it? Is that my devil coming through? So yeah, focusing more on things that are accessible. It's not just the internet, but, you know, making things more accessible to others. So I feel like we're going to be confronted, you know, with challenges to this visionary utopian progress forward for the future that is hopefully, you know, going to bring sustainability to our resources, to our time, to our priorities. But we're going to be probably met with some heaviness. You know, it's like, okay, well, there's some steps you got to take now. I don't know what it is. It could be anything. I feel like for me personally, it's probably a lot of how I organize I feel like my business in regards to like the internet and stuff like that, whatever. Yeah, you're going to be met with some sort of challenge and needing to like kind of become more disciplined there. So big change coming at the very end of January. You know, big changes this entire month. I feel like this is just an entire month of change, but also like opportunity to survive in a way that is you, that is authentically you. So focus on that. I'm hoping, you know, my Venusian enchantments box, this is something I've been dreaming up for a while. I need to start talking about it more. I think that's my biggest thing. I'm like, I don't know, since Saturn's been in Aquarius, and then with Jupiter being in Aquarius, all in my 5th house, I was just like, I'm having a hard time with stuff like that. I don't know why. But anyways, I mean, I kind of have an idea of why. Insecurity, fear. Fear is such a freaking big one. That's like, that is the shadow of Capricorn. Is like this fear of not being good enough. And so it overcompensates, overdoes things. God damn, it's so obnoxious. So that is that for January. I will try my best to have the February forecast for you before February. That's probably what's going to be happening on Sunday, January 30th for me. Like, oh shoot, I did not plan this out very well. But thank you for listening. If you listened this far, I did go over an hour. We're at an hour and 13, 14 minutes. But I hope you have a wonderful rest of this month. And you will.